Hi guys, you are watching Aurora's vlog. Today I will be opening up this package. This is the book that I wrote back in 2011. This is all about my very first 31 months in the United States. It was a bittersweet story. I survived the abusive relationship. It took me at least 10 years before I finally open up and share my story to people and family. And so let's go ahead and open up this. I hope you will support my channel by buying the book. I will put the description down below. Now let's open this up. And if this is your first time watching Aurora's vlog, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. This is what my book looks like. That is me at the back. Very happy. Title my book, My Daily Journey Vlog. Please support my channel by liking this video and comments if you have anything to say. And I'm gonna go ahead and read the very first chapter. This book has 79 pages. Alright, I'm gonna read the very first chapter. I'm just gonna read maybe one paragraph each chapter. So this is chapter 1. I'm just gonna random read one of the paragraph in each chapter. A month after being here in America, I got bored. I have asked Jack. And Jack is actually my ex, and I call him Jack because he was a jackass. So I got bored. I have asked Jack nicely if I could get a job since I am so lonely, and also I could help him pay bills. He said no. You just need to stay. I will take care of you. I said, take care of me? He can't even buy me personal toiletries, women needs. I can't buy that stuff myself because I don't have a job and I'm afraid to ask him. That was part of chapter 1. Now, chapter 2. I am too new to this country and no one ever spoke that so demoralizing. I still can't quite understand what just happened. All I did was ask a favor from a Filipino friend and he went berserk on me. I cried at night like I'd never cried before. Jack uttered those words from his mouth like it was a fierce sword that kills my soul. Chapter 3. And here's the consequences for being so careless. 4 weeks after I first mailed a letter to my family, Jack went to our mailbox and he handed me a letter from my mother. I jumped into joy to hear from my mother. He goes, "You need to translate that letter in English and read it out loud. I need to know what they want." I told him that they just miss me and that they want to know if I'm okay. He goes, "That is not what I want to hear." Jack screamed from the top of his lungs. I said to myself, oh dear. He goes, "Go on, read it." There was nothing else I could tell him other than my mom said hello. He grabbed the letter from me. He then tore it up into pieces and called me a big liar. I was sobbing. It was difficult for me to bear witness this. My first letter from my mother, Jack tore it up into pieces. I was powerless, emotionally numb, and helpless. That was chapter 3. Now let's move on to chapter 4. One day, an elderly Filipino lady who lives across the town called me if I was available to go shopping with her. She was just going to pick me up later if I wanna. I was so excited. I haven't gone to the mall for a long time. So I told her to wait for my call back, for I have to ask permission from Jack. Jack came home that night. Food is ready, and all he had to do was to sit down and help himself. I was so careful of what to say and what not to say. I was waiting for the right time since he was so charming that night. After dinner, I thought it would be the best time to ask. Let's move on to chapter 5. Of all the things that have happened recently, I had to do some careful plans. I became a thinker. I do not want to lose my sanity. I know I wasn't crazy. I was just living with one. I started to look for some creative ways to break free from such a horrible situation like this. It can be very dangerous, but that doesn't mean I will give up. Jack thought that as a Filipina wife, I am that stupid. So I always acted like one. I played the games he played on, and I led him to believe that I was just a no good person who followed his prescription on things which he wanted me to do. If he has plans, I have ones too. Let's move on to chapter 6. Even though Jack is a psycho, I still want to be an honest wife to him. Well, because I was so excited, I told Jack about my cousin that she lives here in US. Jack just said, huh. I don't know what does huh mean to him, but he continued walking straight to our room and acted like he didn't care. Now let's go to chapter 7. As you know, my situation in the very beginning, I am helpless. I can't do anything, for Jack controls our finances, but I just can't say no to mom. She needed me, so I waited for Jack to come home that night because I would like to have a talk with him about this subject. I took whatever consequence I may get in returns in terms of helping my parents. Chapter 8. Well, I forgot my current situation because we were enjoying the delicious Filipino dishes. My Filipino friend home phone was ringing. My states of mind were back to reality, and I was facing the hardest sentence which awaits me. Until Jack announces that the ticket is ready. I was hoping that he will change his mind and that he won't send me back to the Philippines. I said to my Filipino friend that it had to be Jack, and I was right. Chapter 9. I ran to the bathroom just in case if it was Jack. I did not want him to grab me or hurt me. I heard my Filipino friend were yelling my name and telling me that once I got done using the bathroom to come to the living room because someone wants to see me. I said, oh dear. What am I going to do? I know I was not crazy yet, but I found myself talking alone again. I just knew that it was Jack wants to see me. I was praying, hoping that everything should be fine. I was also hoping that I was going to hear good news from him, that he already got me one-way ticket for Philippines just like he had promised. Chapter 10. My Filipina lady friend told me to get down and go back inside the house, which I did. Jack followed us. My Filipina friend, I regarded her as one of my angels. I felt so relieved that she was around. While inside, she offered Jack to sit in the couch, which he refused because he was in a hurry. So my lady friend signaled me to go inside the room because she would like to have a civil talk with Jack. So off I went. Chapter 11. Jack didn't get down on his right knee while he bent the other and with his rifle pointing towards the forehead of the cow, ready to fire. He said, please don't shoot the cow. Without a word, he shot the cow directly at its forehead and it went drop dead on the ground. My heart were thumping and beating heavily, and I was saying, what have you done, Jack? I was blubbering. I can't stop weeping. I was so scared. This time it was proven that I was dealing with super psychotic man. I gotta get away from him. Chapter 12. So I was practicing my line on how to say it in a very convincing way. It was like I was practicing for an audition. Whatever may happens, I have to prepare myself, emotionally and physically. Jack came home from work and I made sure that the house was all cleaned up and dinner was ready. Did that so that the house would have a nice and calm environment while I am pleading to Jack. His 18-year-old son was at school at this time. Let's move on to chapter 13. Jack's brother, Joe, let's call him Joe. That was not his real name. Jack's brother, Joe, came in and was very calm. Joe was just listening to what his daughter has to say. He didn't say much. A few minutes later, Jack stormed in and grabbed my hand, and I tried to yank my hand away from him. I begged Jack that I did not want to come home. I told Jack I was waiting for the cops to arrive. Jack being 250 pounds, I was only 83 pounds. What strength do I have to fight back with him? He didn't just pick and carried me up back to his truck and took me back home. Chapter 14. I closed my eyes and felt something strange I can't quite describe. Something rushed over me. I got chills when it was really warm inside. I wanted to scream, but I can't seem to open my mouth. I wanted to cry, but my tears had gone dry because I have been crying all week long. I said to myself quietly that there should be God out there listening. If He really does exist in this world, I challenged Him to show me some miracles. I'm sorry guys, I'm kind of like emotional because everything came back, and I can't really forget what happened, but no one should ever go through what I went through. But I am just so glad that I survived with that abusive relationship. So let's move on to chapter 15. Joe was telling me to hurry up by now. I told him to give me just a few seconds. I just needed to check up on something at the back of my trunk. Beulah. Behold and what I found, a dozen of rifles and hunting guns. So I was so astonished and was scared. Why would it be there? I quickly called Joe to check up on all of these guns to see if they were loaded, and yes, it was loaded, all of it. Chapter 16. It was 11 a.m. when Joe took me back to his house, so when I got inside my room, I was crying helplessly. Now what? I am divorced. What's next? I was so confused. I knelt down on the floor and was praying to God with all of my heart to just get me out of this situation. To be honest, I have never prayed that hard ever, and this was the first time. Chapter 17. Soon as I opened the door at the back porch, the cop questioned me if I was the girl that they have been searching for in the last 3 days. I didn't know that my name has been stamped as missing for days since I left Jack, my ex-husband. I replied in tears, "Yes, sir. That's me. You have the right girl." The cop then asked me if I was okay. I told him I was okay, still surviving and alive, but not okay mentally at the very moment. I begged him to take me to a safe place away from my abuser, which is Jack, my ex. That was chapter 17. Chapter 18. The cop grabbed the phone from Joe. "Hello, sir. Are you still there? Hello, do you hear us?" Jack said, "Yes, sir, I'm still here." "Miss Aurora told me that you got all of her documents. Just so you know, Miss Aurora can press charges against you, and you can go to jail for having her documents on your possession, but she won't file charges if you return her documents as soon as possible." The cop questioned Jack twice, making sure if Jack heard him. And Jack screamed, "How am I going to return her documents if you are taking her away?" Jack raised his voice. That was chapter 18. So that was the end of my story. I'm sorry I get emotional there. I have not read this for a while because every time I read this, it brings back memories, and it was not a happy ones. I had to share my story because I want everybody that went through so much just like me, that they have to find a way to get some help. That was the story, and I hope you will buy my book. It's something that I'm very proud of to share to people. I have become the voice of a lot of Filipino who are in abusive relationship here in America. I have helped a lot of girls that in abusive relationship, trying to get them out of the situation, or trying to help them what to do, what they can do. Thank you for listening, and thank you for sharing my story, and thank you for supporting my channel by buying my book. If you like this story, please share this to your family and friends, and please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and comments if you have any, and I will see you on my next video. Bye bye.